Hi, Tammy. Welcome to Parental Vision podcast.
Hi, Tiana. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. So obviously you're here because you're a mom.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me a little bit about that. Let's start from the beginning. When you
Just
found out when you were pregnant.
first,
Yeah.
second.
Well, let's start from the first.
Okay, so I have two biological children,
Mm-hmm.
and then I have four bonus children, and between all of them, there's 8 grands.
Wow.
So I had my first son when I was 26, and then I had my second son when I was 40. So I have a huge age gap, girl.
Oh my gosh.
And then we had the bonuses peppered in, between, and then my grands. My younger son is already an uncle. He was an uncle when he was born, because my older stepkids already had a
Children.
son,
Okay.
right? So our family dynamic is kind of crazy. I am divorced, so I am now a single parent, but I do co-parent with my youngest son's father. But I am 50 with a 10-year-old, which is crazy. I mean, who does that?
People do it.
Me, girl.
So tell me, like, what's that dynamic like being a mom of a 10-year-old at 50? Like, how has it changed with your kids that you had previously? Like, do you raise him a little different? Are you a little more lenient with the 10-year-old than you were with your older kids?
No, actually, it's completely separate. I mean, it's different. My older one, I won't say I was out of control, but I was probably, before I got pregnant with him, I was running the streets. I was having a good time. I didn't have no kids. So I was doing my thing.
Living your life.
Right. To be honest, I didn't think I could have kids. There was a lot of times, from, the time where I could have kids that I probably should have. And I just never got pregnant. And it didn't at that point, I was just kind of like, at 26, I was like, all right, maybe it's not going to happen for me.
Okay.
And it did. I didn't end up staying with my older son's father. We broke up when he was like 3 months old. We didn't really co-parent. He wasn't really in his life. He definitely gave me some money here and there, but I got married when he was 3, my older son. So although the father was in his life, my ex-husband really raised my older son.
Oh, wow.
And we were together for 13 years. And we just, we were taking precautions not to have kids, because we figured we had a blended family already.
Yeah.
I had my older son, and he brought 3 with him. And we were like, okay, it was 2 boys, 2 girls, we're good to go. We have a nice mix. 13 years later, we decided, let's try.
What made you want to, though? 13 years later.
To be honest, we separated. And we had a 6-7 month separation. It was a toxic 20-year. At times it was abusive on both sides.
That's nice you could admit that.
Yeah. I'm very removed from that. I've grown so much from that. I've been divorced for 7 years.
Wow.
But we decided at that point, let's try. We were getting back together. We said, okay, maybe this will bring us closer. We had a couple miscarriages. At this point, I'm like in my late 30s. Had a couple miscarriages, and we decided, okay, maybe this isn't going to happen. And then we weren't taking any precautions not to. We're married, but we weren't trying either.
I get it, yeah.
And then, girl, I'm like 39. I'm working at this job. And I had a period, but it was weird. And I was like, something's weird. And I don't know. My friend was like, take a test. And she was like, I'm going to bring you a Dollar Tree one. So I went to my job. In my job, she was, I went in the stall. And, girl, I was like, I just feel weird.
Yeah.
And we were starting a diet challenge that day at work.
Yeah.
And so I was all ready to be, I was like, ooh, I'm about to lose weight. And
yeah.
Blah, blah. I took that pregnancy test. It came back. I said, I'm about to tear some McDonald's up for lunch today. It came back positive.
Wow.
And we ended up checking, because I had a couple miscarriages.
Yeah.
And we had done some checking, to make sure that it was viable at that point, and
Right.
it was. Well, he was, and then girl, at 40, I gave birth to my son. So now I'm 50 with a 10-year-old. It's so different now. I was young.
Yeah.
I was letting my older one kind of, he was not growing up with me, but I was learning still how to
Yeah.
parent. I hadn't had much experience. I still wanted to have fun. I hadn't gotten out of that mode yet. So I probably exposed my older son to music,
Yeah.
movies that I would not do as a parent now.
Okay.
So it's different. Like, and it's funny because my older one will be like, "Oh, you're so easy on him." So there are some things that
Yeah.
but I don't feel like, generally I'm harder on him because I feel like I've learned from the mistakes that, because my older son now, he's struggled with, some things, in life,
Yeah.
and having to kind of like, and he has a son, he's 4.
Okay.
So my son had a son when he was 20, and he's still learning how to be a parent himself.
What are some of the morals that you instilled in your son that he instills in his children? Or principles, rather.
I feel like I'm very big on memory making. Like, as a parent,
Yeah.
like, I feel like I love to do activities with my kids. Like, I'm a museum girl.
Yeah.
I am like a day trip, mommy. I do all of that. I'm like, okay, we want to go just sightsee. So I feel like that's so important. Vacations are so important to me. Like, memory making, like anything, and I try to have him do that with his son. Like, take him to the library. These are the things that he's going to remember
Right.
when he is a young man.
Yeah.
And things that I wished that I would have done with my older son growing up, that I kind of learned later on in parenthood.
Yeah.
That I'm doing better with now as a mom of a different, that age gap.
Different era of time.
Right.
I get it. What are some of the, because you said previously that,
Mm-hmm.
you made some mistakes. So what were some of the mistakes that you feel that you made? And if you could correct them, which ones would they be?
I definitely exposed him, like I said, to music, and I feel like cultural things that he shouldn't have been around, grown folks' business, like we be, growing in the, I was still young when I had him. We were still partying, like I still had people coming over. We'd be in the kitchen, living it up, and he'd be running in, and he heard and saw too much, He used to come with me. He was like my little road dog at the time. I would never do that with my,
Your younger son, no.
I cringe sometimes, like at them, and I listen to, like I'm a hip hop head.
Yeah.
But now, like, I'm in the car with my son, like, oh my
Yeah, I'm turning the music down when certain parts come on, or just changing the whole damn song.
Like I'm all for, like, I'm like a lot, like I'm my younger son, like I expose him to Wu-Tang, like he's very like
old school.
Yeah, he's very, but that's still hood. But like the stuff that comes on the mute, I would. Yeah, I'm very like but when it was with my older son, I was very open with him. Like they be playing that filth in the car, and I didn't care.
Yeah,
I let my older son cuss. He had permission to cuss. I used to feel like it was just a word and it was how you used. So I never cared if he was in the room. I'm not going to drop him, but like any, I wouldn't care if I heard him. I just felt like if you didn't disrespect me saying it.
Yeah.
But to be honest, now it kind of bit me in the ass because now I don't like it now. In his mouth as an adult.
Yeah.
It's horrible. But I allowed it as a child, so now, I'm a cuss. I cuss.
Yeah.
But I also feel like my kid, like now, my younger one, you're not doing that now.
Yeah.
We not do. But I did that with my older one.
Okay.
I allowed that. I used to be like, it's okay. He could cuss he could listen to music. He could say that word. It's okay.
Wow.
And now I'm like, oh God, girl, what was you doing?
I love how transparent you are with that, though.
I mean, it's, but now I feel like there's a big difference between, and I really try to stop it now with my younger one, but now it's like he hears my older one talking that way in the house. So now it's like trying to break that cycle.
That cycle, yeah.
That I did with my older one. With my younger one, it's hard.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And like I know we talked off camera, and I know you have we have the same age.
Yeah, she's 10. Yeah.
And so like, do you feel like that too, like with the music? Because I heard, like when you said, you were
Yeah,
like,
it was honestly, because I love music.
Right.
I listen to every genre.
Okay,
and every
all right.
genre has curse words in it.
Right,
Every
right,
genre
right.
has some type of provocative filth
Right,
in it. Exactly.
right.
But there'll be times where I have on my Apple Music and I'll have like a certain song on, and it'll be like, yeah, because I'll be like, Dakota.
Yeah.
She's like, Mom. I'll be like, you're not listening to that, because I hate to say it. I knew all the lyrics to Lil' Kim Big Mama album.
Yeah, that's
when
my
I was like
song.
6.
That's my Oh, see, now you immediately making me feel
no,
old
but
now.
listen, but no shade to like my family, but now that I'm a mom, I couldn't imagine Dakota listening to that.
And that's what I'm saying, girl. That's how I was with my older son. Like, he was really young.
Yeah.
And knew all the words to
certain music.
Yeah, like, you were saying 10 crack commandments in the car. Like,
listen, like she's gonna hear stuff in school anyway,
right?
And she does. And I think her father had called me probably like a month or two ago and was like, "Hey, her and her friends was rapping some Sexy Red," and I was like,
"Oh God!"
I was like, no shade to Sexy Red, because follow your dreams, do what you do.
Your thing. Yeah, you.
But
I
was like, was it the Kids Bop version? And he was like, "There ain't no Kids Bop version." I said, "Well, then she can't rap it. So take the iPad. You know what to do next."
Right.
And she was like, "But I don't know the words. I was looking up the lyrics." I said, "You don't need to look up those lyrics.
Right.
Go find Kids Bop."
And that's crazy that you said, because I feel like that, a lot of people are like, oh, being a role model in music. No, that's a parent's job. Mm-hmm. I feel like that's a parent's job to safeguard their children against what they don't want them exposed to, or 100%. What they do want them exposed to. So you can't blame an artist for, like what you just said, you can't blame an artist for what they're rapping or what they're doing, or, like how Cardi B gets all that flack. So don't let your kids listen to it.
Don't let your kids listen to it. Simple.
But there's another, okay, so there's a big difference now in school for me too, like my age gap difference, like with my kids, like the stuff that they talk about in school now. Like my son is in 5th grade. My son has special needs. He is on the spectrum, my younger son.
Okay.
He was in a behavioral school for a couple of years, and before that it was COVID, and before that it was pre-K. So he really was at a disadvantage because of, and I'm sure you kind of went through that too with your age, with the COVID and being home.
Yeah.
Right, so he gets integrated back in, the kids come back from school. He gets put into normal school again, or I won't say, traditional school. He can't do it. He's like running off school grounds. He's got severe sensory issues. It's very hard for him. Yeah. He goes into a behavioral school. When he comes back out, he's now in 5th grade. I pushed for him. So, we did therapy, we did groups, we did, special, behavioral programs, all to get him, because my goal was to get him back into a normal school setting.
Of course, yeah.
He was literally in school with like 8 kids, which was very hard. Like the same 8 kids for the 2 years. You're not getting a chance to put into play all these,
motor skills, cognitive
these
skills,
things that you've used to like get back into.
Right.
So we get back into school. He gets back into 5th grade. He's around girls now, and he is girl crazy.
Really?
At 5th grade.
Lover boy?
No, the stuff that I didn't know they talk like that, and that, because they weren't doing that. And my son, 25 years ago.
Yeah.
My son was like, "Oh, Ma, I like this girl. She's on my bus." He was like, "I don't know how to talk to a girl that you like." I was like, "Well, and I'm like trying to, how do we talk about it at this level? This is 10 years old, 5th grade. And I'm like, well, at this age, I said, you got to find something. Maybe talk to her about something that you found in common at school, or, that you found funny. Yeah. I said, it's not like you're going to be seeing this girl after school, or,
right.
He comes home from school and he's like, well, she doesn't like me. She's a pansexual.
Oh. I
said, okay. I had to look that up because I was not aware of
the terminology.
Right.
Okay.
So I had to, and so for me at my age, not to know what that meant, and for my son to have this conversation, it's, I won't say disheartening for me, but it's
it made you feel away.
It did. It's uncomfortable for me because I feel like.
Did you feel like there was a disconnect?
No, what I feel like is that these kids are so over-sexualized, exposed to so much, that we have no choice as parents
but to speak up on it.
Right, and especially when it's in, but it's just so hard. Like I said, I did not deal with this 25 years ago.
Yeah.
We weren't talking about this kind of stuff,
That's true.
My son was grown. Like I said, he was listening to but not at this level.
Yeah.
Now, maybe that's another reason why I feel like I'm a little harder that way on my younger one, because
he's exposed to so much already.
Yeah, like
unwillingly.
Right. And he's coming home like, and now he's 10 years old, and he's like, yeah, he was like, I wore my cologne today. He's like, I bagged like 4 girls today. And I was like, what? What does that even mean? He was like, the girls like me in school. He's like, so we hang out at recess. I was like, what?
We hang out at recess.
So, I mean, but
yeah,
you get what I'm saying? Like,
that's where it starts. Yeah.
And I'm like, is this normal behavior for 5th graders because of the day and age that we're living in?
They call that stage, they call it the puppy love stage. They do. I'll say this, they did when I was in 5th grade. We had the puppy love stage. I don't like that stage. Now that I'm a mom, I don't want no puppy love, no cat love. I don't even want her having that. So
I don't.
Yeah.
And that's, but then I also have my young son, he has siblings that had children young.
Yeah.
So he's exposed
to that. Yeah.
But it's also the dynamic we have too. The older kids are much, much older. He is essentially
the only child.
Right. He's closer to his nieces and nephews
age,
than he is to his siblings.
Do they call him uncle?
They do. He forces them to.
He does not.
They used to all go to school. They used to all go to school together.
Yeah.
One just turned 12. My son will be 11, and then the other one is 10. They all used to go to the same school, so they were, at the time, it was like 4th, 3rd, and 2nd.
Yeah.
And he will literally be like, call me Uncle Jory. And they're like, but at the same time, he's asking for help. Like, to his older nephew, he's like, can you help me tie my shoe? But you want this man to call you uncle.
Right. Come on now.
But he's very serious with his title.
Yes.
But at the same time, he also feels like when he's with his older brothers, they're 24 and 22.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm a brother. I'm not one of them. You're going to treat me like I'm a brother.
He wants the same respect.
Yeah, and they're
I'm
like,
a bro, yeah.
And they're like, nah, get up out of here. Like they're grown,
yeah.
So they don't, they have lives but so it's an interesting dynamic.
I see that.
Do you also have like that issue, or is that something, because this, I love talking to parents, especially that have the same age children, like, do you find that in your school system? Like, are the kids more exposed than my daughter's school? Oh, 100%.
Okay. 110%. Okay. But I was going to ask you, actually, how did you educate yourself on the LGBTQIA, flag community in order to understand where your son was coming from? Because I had to.
Yeah.
Like, my daughter came to me and she had a plethora of questions. And I'm big in the community. I love the LGBTQIA. So I was already like acclimated to it.
Okay.
So it was easy for me to talk to her, but it was taboo for like people in my family.
Okay.
They were like, wait, what is this terminology? I was like, so what did you do? I had them look it up.
Right.
Yeah. So what did you do?
So I actually, I am on the ERG, which is like an inclusion group for my job. Mm-hmm. So our sole purpose is to educate our company on inclusion, everything.
Yeah.
So I definitely kind of looked all that terminology up.
That's good.
And I mean, I kind of knew,
certain things. Yeah,
there was ones that I knew that I was familiar with, but there's a lot that I didn't know.
Yeah.
And, how people identify. And so I definitely, educated myself that way. And there's still so much that I don't know.
Yeah.
And there's stuff that my kids know that I don't know.
Right.
So
do you think you can learn from your children? Do you believe that?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I do too.
Absolutely.
I agree. Because most parents from my mom's generation, they feel like, not all of them, disclaimer, to a certain degree, I know what's best. I know. Right. And I don't think that's right. I feel like your children really can be teachers of you as well.
Right.
And it's important to listen to them.
Right.
You agree?
Absolutely.
Great.
You can learn from anybody.
Yes.
You always have to be open. It doesn't matter if a child is 5 years old.
Yeah.
They can open your eyes to something. They can show you something. It just may not be something that you're familiar with. So, absolutely.
Don't look at the messenger. Listen to the message. 110%. I wanted to ask you, how do you discipline your son, the baby boy, as opposed to how you discipline him?
I beat them all. No, I'm just playing.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I'm sorry, I couldn't resist.
No, it's fine. Did you believe in spanking back then as opposed to now?
Yes, I was. So I definitely have gone through a lot of therapy since my older son. It was like I said, it was hard.
Yeah.
With him, I said and did a lot of things that I shouldn't have as a parent. A lot of things that I'm still trying to make up for now. That I've learned, and I'm still a work in progress. I'm still in therapy. I'm still learning how to be a parent. I'm still working through, things, issues. Because if I don't show my kids that, how are they going to learn? How are they going to understand that talking to somebody is okay, working it out? That's a big thing for me, is like the therapy aspect with both of my kids. I lost my train of thought. What was I saying? Oh, discipline. So I definitely spanked my son, my older son.
Okay.
I've popped him in the mouth when he was younger. I don't do that much nowadays.
Yeah.
It doesn't solve anything.
Yeah.
Spanking, hitting doesn't show them, like, if you're doing something wrong, just hitting doesn't show them how to.
You have to talk to them, explain
right.
to
You
them,
have to show them.
Yeah.
And again, like, leading by example for me is like a big thing, you know. And like I said, I'm always a work in progress. And sometimes my kids will be like, "Mom, you gotta calm down. Like, you anxious, you over the top, like you yelling." But now it's more of restriction. I feel like it's a reward system for my older son. We have a checklist that we follow to help, with routine in the morning.
Yeah.
And if you don't follow that, then there is a consequence later.
I love that.
But I'm human. Sometimes I be like, all right, it's all right. You don't have to stay in your room. I struggle. That's a big struggle for me is discipline.
I'm super lenient.
Me, and I want to be
tough.
Right, I do, but then I feel like he's missing out.
Yeah, I feel that way. It's like mom guilt.
Right,
That's a real thing.
No, it is. I feel like he's missing out. Like if I restrict, and I'm like, oh, he's just starting to get social now. He's back in, school, and he's got these friends, and they're on the game, but you were fresh and you were disrespectful this morning.
So you don't get the game.
Yeah, so you don't get the game later. But then I'm like,
me too.
And then when he gets home, he's a completely different child.
Yeah.
And then I'm like,
does he have attitude?
He does.
Whose attitude does he have?
He does. His father, he has a nasty attitude in the morning, and he definitely gets that from his father.
You have a little bit of sparkiness in you too, a little spunky.
I got a little sass to me,
yes.
But he's a good boy all in all, but he struggles. Like I said, he's on the spectrum.
I understand, yeah.
He has other behavioral issues.
I'm a behavioral technician.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's my other job. So I teach ABA therapy I do it with children now. Okay. I was doing it previously with like elderly and people my age in their 30s, but I recently transitioned to kids. So.
Yeah, okay. We actually had somebody come in to help with home stuff at one point.
Yep.
To kind of, show us how to interact.
Exactly.
How to, positively,
get him on the right track and communicate. Right. Yeah. So he had the PEGS book and things like that.
No.
So wait, what does he have? He has speech, obviously.
He did have speech. He had speech and OT when he was much younger.
Okay.
For him, it was more of like a behavioral thing.
All right.
There was a lot of out of control behavior in school. Mm-hmm. There was a lot of anxiety for him. There was a lot of mood dysregulation. It's huge for him. Mm-hmm. But that's huge for me. And he gets that from his mama.
Understandable.
So we have that same diagnosis.
Mm-hmm.
So I see him in me. And it's, it's hard sometimes, because I'm doing the same thing and I'm trying to teach him not to, but I'm reacting the same way.
The same way. Yeah. So you guys are kind of like learning together,
right?
If you will.
Right.
That's good. Mm-hmm. And at today's time, what level will you say he's at now? Like 1 to 10.
What do you mean?
Is he doing good, better, progress?
Yeah, I mean, he acclimated back into traditional school.
Yeah.
I'll be with supportive services.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't even use them. He doesn't go to his room
Mm-hmm.
that he has, with his para. He doesn't use his para. He's jumped
Really?
so socially in school, but he's also blossomed so much academically.
Wow.
He had even getting back into like fifth grade, he had a hard time with even sight words. And now he is up at his grade level in reading. So it's been a
He's
lot of,
progressed
yeah, it's
tremendously.
been a lot of hard work.
Mm-hmm.
With him more so than, like I said, with my older one.
Yeah. How did you find out he was on the spectrum? Like what made your gears start going to actually go get him screened?
Pre-K, I mean daycare.
Okay, what happened?
His daycare was like, doesn't seem like he's meeting his milestones.
Okay.
So they suggested maybe birth to 3 come in and do the
Right.
eval.
Mm-hmm.
Birth to 3 came in, did the eval. They were like, absolutely. I got him diagnosed with sensory processing when he was 3, because they couldn't really do any real testing on him.
Right, 'cause he
but
was
they
too young.
knew something was
Something was up.
Got him into pre-K. I think at around 4 or 5, I had him officially brought in for psychological testing, and then they diagnosed him with autism, mood dysregulation, anxiety, depression, and ADHD.
How'd that make you feel? I always ask the moms that come on here.
Aside from the spectrum, that's all me.
Right.
So, and it was all my mom. So, it was, my older son is completely different. He is, I don't want to say normal.
I know what you mean though. Yeah.
But he doesn't struggle the same way that my mom struggled, that I struggle.
Yeah.
And it is hereditary. So yeah, it's, seeing him struggle with the same things as I do is hard, especially sometimes when I can't even help myself.
Yeah.
So.
But you were like emotionally okay when they told you, or was it like a hard hit? Like, how did you feel?
I feel like I kind of knew.
Really? Okay.
I kind of knew, but it was the spectrum one really was hard.
Okay.
Because I didn't know what that meant for him moving forward.
Yeah.
I didn't know how we were going to get a team of people in to help him
And navigate through this.
Yeah, and I am my children's biggest advocate. Like, I will be in the school like, hello.
Yeah.
They know when they want to get something done. Like, the school, they didn't have, my son is on because he goes to, he's in traditional school, but he's bussed in, so he's on a bus with other behavioral students.
I understand.
They didn't have a para on the bus. And I was like, you have 8 kids on a bus with no para?
You need a para.
I was like, somebody's going to be on the bus in the afternoon. Like, I called the bus company. I had the transportation. Like, they know when they want something done.
Call you.
Yeah, they call me like I'm that parent.
That's good.
Because I feel like if I don't, who's going to?
Yeah, exactly.
I have to be there to make him successful.
Right.
It's my job as a parent,
Absolutely.
So.
And in turn, you advocated for the other kids as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So kudos
I didn't
to
think
you.
about that.
Yeah, you did. So kudos to you. Yeah. What were you like growing up? How was your childhood growing up?
Oh.
Okay.
I was so for me, my parents were both raised in an urban environment in Hartford. They were raised in a project. They were raised in Charter Oak. This was back in the day. My parents divorced, and my dad moved out to a suburban area. He remarried a very type A woman, and my mom stayed in the hood. So here I was, having to go back and forth between, I was 2 different people. I can be a chameleon wherever you put me.
Yeah.
Because of the way that I was brought up. My family always stayed living around the way, and my dad didn't. So I would go see him on the weekends. I would be a completely different kid. I would be Tammy. but I'm really me when I go home because this is where I feel comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
This is like, in turn, I won't say of course, but I felt no different in the neighborhood that I was growing up, even though I was the minority.
Right.
So for me moving forward, my kids were mixed.
Mm-hmm.
I ended up, my older son is half black, my younger son is black and Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
So for me being, the only white girl around the way, I
Mm-hmm.
definitely feel like the
Mm-hmm.
culture definitely had an effect on my parenting as well. Um, I don't really know how to like articulate that, how it has, but I definitely have exposed my kids to a lot of different cultures,
Mm-hmm.
and again, that's for me, that's important.
Yeah.
Especially, their fathers are definitely active with them, but I still feel like it's my job to educate them on their race, their
Yeah.
background, just the things that I know.
What are some of the things you educate them on?
Um, they have questions on, being a young black man around the way.
Mm-hmm.
I have to get my son books. I have to get him in touch with people because there's certain things, no matter how much I grew up around the way, there's certain things that I'm just not going to empathize. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't.
I
I'm a
understand.
white woman.
Mm-hmm.
Um, my son goes out in the street and he's a black man, you know? So I have had to bring in people um, that can really talk to them, the way, and educate them the way that I can't. So there's things that I can't educate them on, but the things that I can't, I'm able to help educate them on.
Okay.
You
I
know what I
see.
mean? But I definitely make sure I keep them in touch with their father's side, so they're not just exposed to my people's.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, my younger son, I was married to my younger son's father 20 years. We co-parent, okay. But I am definitely grateful that, he is still very active in my son's life, and he's able to, be that dad for him and help him in the ways that I can't,
Right.
So,
Well, having black sons,
hmm
what are some of your biggest fears with them growing up in today's world with the things that happen to black boys in the last forever, honestly?
I've had experiences. I remember my older son, we were out in Ashford at a campground with my parents,
Yeah.
and the little girl was like, we were at the lake, and the little girl was like, I don't want to play with him. He's brown. My heart sank. My son was like 5, and at the time, I didn't know her parents weren't around. I'm not gonna cuss nobody kids out. I wanted to. I removed my son from that situation, but I know this may sound corny, and my shout out to my baby boy Malik. He'll tell you, that's my big son. Every Martin Luther King Day, I made him listen to that "I Have a Dream" speech, and we sat and we talked about it. Like from the time that he was little, like I just remembered, like it was crazy, but that happened. I remember being in an elevator with my older son, and a lady moved her bag to the side. She didn't know that was my son with me, and she moved her bag to the side. Like, so those are some, like, you could have a white mama all you want to, but when you go out in them streets, they don't look at you like that.
Yeah, you're black.
You're you're that's not what you are. Like, you can't roll your window down. And my mom is white. My mom is, like, you can't like that. They don't view you like that. I mean, not that I would want you to, but you know what I mean? Like, so it's scary for me. Like,
Yeah.
I have to talk to them about that. I have to talk to them about, how they're viewed in society, so.
Okay. All right. What are some of the things that your kids have taught you about motherhood?
Oh, that I'm crazy. That I need to get it together. Shout out to my babies.
Oh my goodness.
No, I mean, my younger one has definitely taught me patience, although they would tell you that I don't have it. The difference from my older one um, is just, like my younger one really taught me like the patience. Um, my older one, it's just my baby. Like, I can't explain. Like, although I was 26, he and I were so close. It was just me and him for, although I was married, it was just me and him for so long. So I'm very, close to him. He has just kind of taught me love. He gave me that first unconditional, like that love feeling, So he taught me how to love, unconditionally.
I love that. I've heard that. I've heard that before, and I actually feel the same way. Dakota taught me a lot. Like, I didn't know true love until I had my baby,
Yeah.
honestly. And they say that not to put a damper on other kids after the first, but
Hmm.
they say that you don't really get that feeling after the first one. The first one is the one that, like, it hits you in the chest the most.
He's still my passcode. His birthday is, girl, if anybody knows it, he get in my phone, my banking information.
Oh my God, don't
And
say
it's
that on
crazy.
camera.
It's crazy. Hey, we're gonna edit that part out. No. No, but I'm saying that's my password child. Like that's
Yeah.
his, like, and he know like everything is, my younger son will be like, Mom, why don't you use mine? And I'm like, I don't know, because
Yeah, it's how it falls.
he's my password, baby.
Oh my goodness, I love that. So tell me a little bit about how the divorce affected your children, if you're comfortable talking about
No,
it.
absolutely. So I mean, I'm just gonna be. I cheated. I cheated. I cheated. I cheated. It was a very toxic marriage. It was abusive. It was abusive. It was very abusive. Um, and I stepped out on the relationship. And I started dating somebody that I dated pre-marriage. Um, we ended up separating and divorcing. I mean, it had been really over for a long time. And I think it was just hard for us because it was comfortable. Ooh, it was comfortable, like 20 years is a long time to be with somebody, like even now I look back, like it's so comfortable. Like I can, even when we talk now, it's better now. Like I can get on the phone for an hour and just BS with him because there's so much history. And it's not like that baby mama, baby daddy, I want you back. Not at all. Neither on, but 20 years is a long
It's
time.
very long, yeah.
Like I know your whole family, my whole family, me like
Back of my hand.
the
Yeah.
back of my hand. So I can still, even 7 years divorce, I can get on the phone and have an hour long conversation about this. Not even about our son, just about everything, But the divorce definitely affected my younger one because that is his dad. Um, and I feel like at that time, that's when all that stuff was happening. He was getting, like his behavioral stuff. So I feel like that definitely had an effect. I feel like the environment that I created with the divorce and me jumping immediately into a relationship.
Oh, you didn't waste no time,
Now,
yeah.
2 year relationship, and married 20 years, 2 year relationship. And then, girl, I went through midlife crisis, and that's a whole nother story.
Well, we can talk about that too, though.
Um, so it definitely affected my younger son. But we still tried to. He always took him. He always was active with him. But we do get into it. We disagree. We argue. We fight. I will hang that phone up right in the middle of a conversation. You could be mid sentence, and I'll be like, "We ain't.
Doo, doo, doo.
Bye bye. I'll talk to you again later."
Yeah.
But I feel like it's a work in progress, and I'm glad we're at that point now, even, this far down the road, you know. So
So it's all good.
it is, I mean, sometimes
Do you regret stepping out?
I do.
Wow.
I do. I do. I feel like sometimes did I throw it away?
Yeah.
You know, and I hurt him. I know I did, but I feel like I was pushed to that level. I feel like because of the stuff that we went through, I feel like I had no other, like, I was so starved for what I was looking for that I ran out to find it.
What were you looking for?
That love, that attention that I wasn't getting in my marriage, no matter what happened, and I felt like after that length of time, like, am I going to spend my entire life like this, waking up miserable, and I got to wake up in the morning and listen to you and your yelling and arguing, and no, I don't have to do that. I don't want to spend the latter years of my life like that, you know? Like, I'm at a point in time now where I don't want to date unless we're moving towards something, you know? I just don't feel like at my age with my kids that's, you know, I don't need to be, you know, but there was, you know, like the midlife crisis, I joke, but it was true. You know, I got divorced, jumped out of this relationship. My boy from work was like, hey, I'm doing this podcast. Why don't you come down? You know, like you're very, you know, like you're very a people person. We sitting around with a bunch of dudes, and I loved it. I started podcasting. I started getting a little attention.
Yeah.
You know, and I was so sheltered for all this time, you know. So I started dressing a little different. Dyed my hair blonde.
And it looks good.
Thank you, babe. I started becoming a little sneakerhead. You know, I was taking more pride in my appearance. And then I started doing little Tubi movies, and you know, people started recognizing me from my shows and my podcast. I got a little, you know,
you got a buzz.
Yeah, I got a little internet, you know, a little buzz. You know, people kind of knew my name and stuff. So I started, you know, maybe posting pictures of myself that I shouldn't have. My older son had an intervention with me. He was like, "Ma," you know, his friends were liking my pictures.
Ooh, not the friends.
Yeah, they were a little bit racy, you know, inappropriate, you know, things I was wearing, you know, but I dropped 60 pounds after I got divorced.
Beautiful.
So I started running. I do 5Ks now. You know, I'm a different person than I was then, but yeah, so I did a little bit, and my son had to send me like, Mom, you gotta stop posting the pictures. And you know, but I feel like now I've found a healthy balance, you know. I'm still podcasting.
What's your podcast?
Current Talk. Shout out to FB, my co-host, greatest
FB.
co-host in the world. So, you know, we do the podcast. Usually it's twice a month. We're on season 3, but, you know, I found a good balance. I work 2 jobs. I got the kids. You know, I'm doing my podcasting thing. I'm doing some acting. Shout out to Ching. We got some Tubi movies coming too.
Love that.
But, you know, just being a mom, you know.
Yeah.
Tam loves the kids.
Yes. What are some of the lessons that your son, or morals, principles, anything that he learns from his older siblings? And which older sibling is he more like?
It's so hard because the age difference is so crazy that he's so much closer. Well, both of my kids live home with me. My older son still lives at home with me.
Okay.
So they're a lot closer, you know, because they're
in the same house.
They're in house.
Yeah.
So you know, I feel like they're, you know, they're closer.
Yeah.
But he takes after his other brother. Mannerisms, I feel like, more so than my biological son.
Okay.
He definitely looks like them too. But he you know, he's got some positive influences from siblings and some not positive influences from some of his siblings. So
what are the positive and the not positive? Can we say it on camera?
Yeah, I mean, you know, some of them party a little too much. I don't like that, but they're also young, you know. But again, it's kind of like that. How much are they a role model, you know, to their brother, but that's not their responsibility at the same time. They are entitled to their lives growing up. You know what I mean? So that's kind of hard. You know, I don't like for him to see certain things, you know. My older son is 24. He has a son. His girlfriend comes over. She spends the night.
Oh, wow. What's that like, her staying the night?
I do. You know, I never allowed it up until my son had a son. And then when he had a son, the son's mom they lived with me for a little bit.
Wow. How do you feel about that? Like
having a child?
letting your children's girlfriend or boyfriend come stay the night, come live with you. Because I'll be honest, my mother never.
Shacking? Yeah, I know. I wasn't allowed to. Nah, I wasn't even allowed to have boys come over my house.
Yeah.
Like, nah, we wasn't doing that. You could sit on the porch outside with the
Right.
door open.
Talk to me through my window. Throw a rock at it.
Nah, I'm serious. Like, I wasn't. But I was hot and ass when I was young. You know,
Really?
like, yeah, I was running the street. I was 14, running around. Like, I got, you know, I was put into a group home and stuff because I was out, you know, wild and running the streets and stuff. But my kid, you know, where was I? I forgot where I was.
How do you feel about parents that let their children?
Oh, the shacking up.
The shacking up.
Yeah. Oh, it was hard, but I felt like, okay, so my son was 17.
Yeah.
He met this girl. Her mom was letting him come spend the weekends. Unbeknownst to me, I thought he was at his friend's house. Now he's able to in-house, right?
Yeah.
So now, you know, he's spent a night. He's 17, so they're
doing what they do.
17-year-olds do.
Yeah.
Under the mom's, but unbeknownst to, because I still was very, you know, I still was very, like, you know, strict with him.
Yeah.
And I eventually allowed it because he had a baby. And I felt like, okay, so at this point, what am I supposed to do?
Y'all done
like,
did the do.
They got a kid.
Yeah.
Like, they have a family.
Yeah.
They need a place to live. What am I going to do? Like, not say, so they came, they lived, you know, they were with me for a while. They moved out. They got their own place. Their relationship didn't work out. He ended up coming back home, and that's perfectly okay with me. My kids can stay home with me forever. They ain't got to go nowhere. You know, I'm there to support. I don't want to enable, but I'm also not going to put you out in the street because I don't care how old you are. You're still my kids. Like, I'm there to help you.
That's
you know?
right.
So again, he's, you know, home, but now he's got a girlfriend. I love her. She's great. She's got a great head on her shoulders. I feel like she's a great influence for my son. And he kind of weaseled his way into, you know, she would bring him home late from work, and he'd be like, she doesn't want to drive all the way to, is it okay? And I really liked her, and then they kind of, you know, and I don't allow the back and forth. This is the second, but it does have an effect, I feel like, on my younger son. But she's, shout out to Emma. She's actually graduating with her master's in developmental. She's a teacher. So she helps my son.
Awesome.
She comes over and tutors, and the girl, because the math they do these days.
Yeah, I was talking about that the other day.
She comes over and does all that stuff with him.
I'm not ashamed to say I don't know 5th grade math.
Me either.
My daughter's 5th grade math is like taboo.
I'm carrying the one. What are y'all doing with this grouping?
I don't know. Pi and all that. I don't know.
I'm not doing that.
Sorry. So she's in tutoring.
Cursive?
Yeah.
Cursive? Did you teach her?
She knows cursive, but they're not utilizing it much in school.
Yeah, they don't try it.
They not.
I taught my son how to write his name, but yeah, so sorry, sidetrack. But
it's fine. It's totally fine. That's what we do here. It's okay. And I did want to talk about school a little more anyway.
Yeah.
So with the way of today's world, with the bullying and the school shootings and things like that, how do you feel as a mom sending your baby boy to school? I'm scared. I'm scared.
So funny you should ask. My grandson's mom is actually homeschooling my grandson right now because she does not want him to go to school for that reason. Wow. Like, she's very she actually just started an Instagram with his homeschooling journey because she's, you know, I have mixed feelings because I feel like kids need to be social. I feel like kids need that environment, but I also feel like you're right. Look at all the stuff that's going on. My kids just had a drill the other day in school. I got the alert. They have the lockdown drills just in case. My younger son and I just recently had the conversation about Sandy Hook. Something was on, and I forgot what it was, but he kind of asked me what happened. And, you know, so I had to explain. He was like, kindergarten, Mom? And I was like, yeah. And I said, that's one of the reasons why you do these drills is to make sure that you're safe in case something like this should happen. I mean, of course, that scares me every day, like sending your kids to that environment. But at the same time, like, they could be in a mall, they could be in a car, they could be in a plane, they could be, you know, it's just unfortunate that in this day and age, it's the environment that we've created, that we've fostered for, you know?
Yeah, 100%. What are we going to do? We just pray and hope to God that he keeps the baby safe. 100%.
I'm agnostic.
Oh, really? Okay. All right. Either way, put it out in the universe somewhere, somehow. Keep
no,
safe.
I didn't mean to be like, you know, I didn't mean to say it like that. But
it's fine.
I struggle. Actually, it's crazy because I struggle with that so much. Like, I want to.
Yeah.
I've taken my kids To church?
Yeah, yeah.
I've been saved. I was water baptized.
Really?
Yeah. Down in Florida, big church, Pentecostal. I've tried to
Do it
get the
all.
Holy Spirit. I
Yeah.
couldn't get tongue. None of that. It's hard for me. I feel like I need that proof. My kids have questions about it all the time, so I try to educate them, and I'm like, there's stuff that I can't answer. Okay, well, let's go to church.
Yeah.
If this is what you want to believe, this is what you want to believe.
So you don't deter them from
No,
it.
absolutely not.
That's beautiful.
No, absolutely
I love
not.
that.
And I love learning about all kinds of religions, like Muslim, and I feel like there's got to be something, because everybody has the same similar,
Yeah, I get it. Yep.
But at the same time,
similar principles and things like that.
But
yeah.
at the same time, I need proof.
I get it.
I need that, and I just can't. There's some things that are just too fantastic for me to wrap my head around.
Yeah, definitely. So there's something there you feel.
Yeah, but I take, like I said, my kids have been baptized. They've been, I try to, if that's what and I feel bad sometimes because I don't want my kids to believe what I not believe. If they want to believe, that's fine. Mm-hmm. That's great. I'll encourage you. I love that for you.
Yeah.
I wish I had that. I wish I had that feeling. I just don't.
You just don't, and that's okay. And if I offended you,
no,
I'm
not
sorry.
at all.
Okay, just want to make sure.
No, because I don't want to offend nobody who believe.
No, absolutely
okay.
not. I'm the most chillest person in the world.
Yeah, me too.
I could blend with whatever.
Me too.
I do have another question. I want to
Sure.
ask you, if any of your children came home and said that they like the same sex, how would you feel?
Fine. I mean, it's your,
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like the only thing, it's to be the reproduction aspect of it is the only thing that I feel would but as far as my kids loving somebody of the same sex, no, love is love.
Love is love.
Yeah, I don't care. You could love the tree over there. That's fine. As long as the tree is good back to you, that's great. I just, like I said, the only thing, I'd be like, if it was my son, I'd be like, I want to have a grandbaby someday from
But they
you,
still can.
I know.
It's just in a different way.
And I guess I feel like it wouldn't be traditional and, not that I'm old school, but I just,
I get it. You have it painted the way you see it.
Right.
I understand that. That's okay.
But I wouldn't, deter.
Yeah.
Not at all.
That's beautiful. I love that.
How about you?
Oh, listen, I'm a big part of the community. I'm with it. You can bring home a tree, like you said. I'm not gonna judge you. I love you either way.
Do you plan on having more?
I do. I want to have a son so bad. I manifest my son. I dream about my son at least 5 times a year. I don't literally. I have the same dream. I'm gonna just say it publicly. All my friends know this. I bought a baby boy, and literally, I'm like, whose baby is this in the dream? The little boy is wrapped in a blue blanket. He looks just like me. I don't know who the father's gonna be because but I literally have this dream about him. So I think I'm gonna have a son. Yeah.
When my younger son, when they told me I was pregnant, I laid on the table when they told me he was a boy, and I wept. I cried because I just knew. I knew I was having Olivia. I knew it. Girl, when they told me
that's my niece's name.
Olivia?
Yep.
Yeah, I wanted Olivia so bad. I turned my head, the whole air in the room went, and my ex-husband said to me, he said, you wait until he's old enough, I'm going to tell him. I'm going to tell him. And it's crazy because I can't even imagine. I got mama's boys.
Yeah.
I can't imagine them being anything that what they are, but I wanted a girl so bad.
Listen, you're going to get some granddaughters. It's okay.
I wanted no, I had a grandson.
Well, but you might get granddaughters.
I have a bonus. I have a bonus grand.
Oh, see, then that's your daughter right there.
I have 2 bonus grandgirls.
Yeah.
But in house is a little bit different. I get to do hair. And
I get
stuff,
it. Yeah. I get it. But girls are drama. It's okay. You're not missing nothing to drama.
And also, I'm the queen in my castle.
See,
I'm the queen.
You don't want to share the throne.
Yeah,
exactly.
No.
Well, I do have one more question for you. First of all, let me just say disclaimer. I love this interview.
Me too.
You are amazing. You are such a vibe. I could talk to you for hours. Seriously.
We were all over the place.
But I love it. That's what it's about. That's what keeps us interested. All that good stuff. So we'll probably talk more off camera anyway. But I do have one more question.
Yeah.
5 things that you feel make up a great mother.
Girl, 5? Can we stop at 3?
3.
I mean, I feel like, I don't know because it's different for every family. I feel like at any given moment as a parent, we're all doing the best that we can with the resources that we have.
For sure.
So being a great mother means different things to different people. You know, for me, I guess it would be like, if to me, to be the perfect mama, if I could mold myself that way, it would be like patience, it would be understanding, it would be compassion, it would be inclusion, and it would be unconditional love.
Perfect.
Damn, did I rattle off 5?
You did the bomb.
Yes, Tam.
That was great. Good job, Tam. Wonderful. Thank you so much for taking out the time to sit and speak with me.
Thank you for having me. It was so nice to be here.
Listen, anytime. I absolutely adore you. Seriously, I mean that.
Yeah, and it was weird being on the other end.
Yeah.
Like, and you're like, and usually it's me at home preparing, like,
yeah.
Okay, what am I going to ask? What's your top 5s? What's your, so when you just sprang the top 5, I was like, oh, God.
You did excellent, though.
I'm on the spot, but thank you so much.
You're very welcome. And before we wrap, tell the people again where they can find you.
Social media is Tammy Whaley, and Snap, IG, TikTok is TamTam1217. You can hit me up for custom cakes, and I also do custom sneakers. And also check out the podcast, Current Talk Podcast.
Awesome. You heard it here first. Check her out, people. Thank you again.
Thank you, babe.
Absolutely. Everyone, that's a wrap from Parental Vision. Once again, I'm your host, Tiana Caprice. Until next time, bye.